You're about to watch one of the most difficult closes that I've ever had. Just to give you some context on exactly where we're at in the sales process, you're about to watch the second half of this sales call. First half was used for discovery and presentation. This last half is all objection handling. Make sure you take out your notebook and you pay attention to how I overcome each and every objection that he gives me, because if you're in the online space and you are not able to do this for yourself, you will not survive very long.
Speaking previously, I understand your ability to implement a strategy, but belief is two ways, right? I believe in your team, I believe in your strategy, but you also have to believe in the vision and see what I'm doing as well. And I think I should start by telling you my future for this brand. My future for this brand is to make it into a men's health space. I don't know if you know about do you know about Blue Chew?
Yeah.
All right. I just had a meeting with Blue Chew right now. We're planning to integrate into the system as well. I'm planning to bring on psychologists later into the business. So my goal is that this stops being just a creator run business, and becomes an actual business, an actual pure liquid money-making machine, which can actually change guys' lives as well. I told Vlad about me doing outreach. The purpose of me doing outreach is to partner with as many giants in the industry as possible. We also touch men's porn issues. So we want to partner with a partner. And I've had a few partners before, like Twitter and Overcomer. They're true partners which can actually help guys speak porn, right? We also have some business with some guys from the UK with different brands for men's health, men's longevity. I'll be going to Turkey as well in a few weeks to speak to some clinics, so we can have guys also outsource to men who want surgical interventions, for example. So this brand is not simply something which we start here on Instagram and we just stay in our funnel. It's going to scale way beyond our wildest dreams, but we all have to give it our best. We all have to work hard, and we need to believe that it's going to work.
I agree. I think I remember one of my favorite books that I read a couple years ago was A Man's Quest, and then this is me going on a little tangent, but I promise it's gonna like tie into what you're saying, right? It's A Man's Quest for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, right? Have you had the opportunity to read that book?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so then you already know how powerful of a story that is, right? And one of the biggest things that I takeaways that I got from that book is if you operate from a sense of like not having a why, because you even remember like how he describes the concentration camps, like the only thing that that separated people that would unfortunately not survive and the people that would survive is like having a strong reason why. So it seems like you have a strong reason why for moving your business forward, right? And we also have a strong reason why for we want to help you. Like this is our passion. Like growing up, like I love YouTube, I love social media, I love all of that, right? And I've always loved sales and marketing, right? So if we're in alignment, like I don't see why we can't hit those goals, right?
How did you get to know Vlad, and what is the cohesion between your relationship?
Well, essentially, when I started in my journey, Vlad was somebody that was introduced to me through a mutual friend. Vlad, we just grew together. We just grew to know each other like pretty well, right? And it kind of just made sense because almost our skill sets align perfectly, right? Where I'm just a little bit better at sales and understanding social media than he is, right? And he's just a little bit better at orchestrating the actual automations in the landing page and stuff like that. So it's kind of like our skill sets just aligned. So it just made sense for us to partner, essentially. I don't know if Vlad wants to add on to that, but that's how I perceive it from my end.
Yeah, I mean, I just focus on the sales process in the back end, right? And then it just makes a perfect partnership, right? Because if we can double down on something, right, we always produce better results, right? When we focus on our own skill set and something that we enjoy, something that we're good at, right? So that's how it works. So same way I see it.
Yeah. Moving forward, right? I know you said that you wanted to get this implemented as soon as possible, right? And before we move forward, do you have any questions for us, essentially?
If I do, I'll bring them up.
Perfect. Right. So to get the system implemented into your ecosystem, right, it's going to be 9.5K upfront and then 20% rev share.
Okay. All right.
do you want to proceed with a debit or credit card with that?
I need to go over these numbers. From the last time I spoke with Vlad, I was on the impression we're going to do 20% to you all, 5% to the setters, and 10% to closers. That was my idea on what the deal structure was going to look like.
Vlad did mention to me that he did let you know that our upfront fees range from 9 to 18K.
Okay, I might have missed that detail.
Is it the upfront fee? Is that kind of like the hesitation at this point?
Yes, I'm a little spread thin on different endeavors. So the upfront fee is something I have to pull some resources away from if I want to focus on this.
That's fair. And I just want to, and I'm not trying to pry too much here, right? But spread thin can mean different things to different people, right? You ask a billionaire if they're spread thin, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm on to my last $2 million, right? So, and we want to see how we can help you get this implemented. And it's only because you've told us that you believe in us. You've told us you believe in the strategy, and you've told us multiple times that you're trying to implement this as soon as possible. Because to use your own words, right? The longer we wait, I think the word you chose is like the stronger our competition moves, right? So what is that? What does spread thin mean to you?
Spread thin is I have a different strategy with Shrey right now, which I am also paying him for a similar deal. So that would be me double paying for a similar vision for implementation of a system behind the team. The next thing about spread thin is I have invested significantly in bringing specialists to improve on the backend delivery system, improving in our school system as well. So the school system can actually give the clients the results, not just attract them into the system.
Okay. May I ask how much you invested in those specialists?
The specialists run for about 10 to 15K.
10 to 15K. And how much are you paying Shrey?
I didn't hear you.
How much are you paying Shrey?
How much do I pay in Stripe?
Shrey. I might be pronouncing his name wrong. I'm not too familiar with
okay.
And the individual.
So Shrey gets paid on deliverables, and he doesn't get paid on a lump sum like your team does. He gets paid in deliverables and in installments. So right now I paid him the first initial, I paid him like $1,000 to get everything set up. Then once we get to a certain milestone, I pay him $2,000, just like that. But to every milestone, he gets paid a certain amount of money, ranging from 1 to 3K. Okay.
Now, how long have you been working with Shrey?
I've been working with Shrey for about a month.
1 month.
Under a month.
Under a month. Okay. This just goes back into like how you perceive us, right? Do you feel, because you said you paid between 10 to 15K for specialists, right? Would we not be considered specialists as well?
I'm not denying that.
Right. Now the specialists were specific for fixing, well, I wouldn't say fixing, that's the wrong framing, but helping you better orchestrate your school community, right? But the question is that's more of like a fulfillment asset. Like, what's the return on investment for that?
It depends on how good we can funnel people into the school, right?
Well, and the reason why I asked that is because, so you put 10 to 15 grand, right, to make your school community better, essentially, right? Is that investment, and that's a sound investment, but is that going to directly make you more money?
Not directly.
By itself. Okay. Now let's analyze, right, an investment into us, right? Is that going to directly make you more money?
We're all going to make money from this. If it's well properly.
Of course we all are, right? But you're included in part of that all. Correct? Right. So when we look at the return on investment from investing in the specialists versus investing in what we plan out over here, right? Is it fair to say that there's a higher return on investment with what we have to offer?
I mean, it's an even return. right? Because the specialists take care of the back end, you all take care of the middle of the funnel, and everybody works well together.
I mean more in like numbers wise, because like you said before, there's not necessarily a direct return on like increased revenue from a more dialed in school community or infrastructure for from what they're doing. Or did I misunderstand that?
I don't understand your question.
Well, it's earlier I asked what the return on investment was, right, for those specialists, right? Because yeah, they're making your fulfillment better, right? But
Yeah.
then is there a direct increase in revenue from that action? And your response at the time was not direct.
My thought process is, and how I see it is, if the fulfillment system is much better, then the students who are in there, that increases retention, and that gives the business a predictable floor for income.
That's fair. That's a fair angle.
That's how I see it. Because right now the school system, I designed all the courses in there, and I'm not a specialist in curriculum. I'm not a curriculum specialist. So if I have specialists who are in there, that reduces churn, and that we can raise the prices once we get testimonials, and just that by itself can run even with a bad funnel. That's why I invested that much.
Now, let's look at what would happen, right, if you had a completely dialed in a funnel from A to B or A to Z, right? Is that going to have a higher return on investment than just investing?
Without question,
right?
yeah.
So now it's a question on a hedge, right? Because I agree with you, like that in the long term, that is going to have a direct return on your investment because you're going to have better fulfillment. You're going to get more testimonials, which is going to increase your marketing, right? But look at the situation where we're in. The system is not dialed, and I think you've noticed that yourself. Because I don't even think your concern is like the money. Of course, you want the money, but it's your time. Because even if the school community is super dialed in, right? You still have to use your bandwidth to do all these extra things like managing your staff and fixing little stuff like the staff management, right? So not only on like the return on like your investment, but like return on your time, right? That's just kind of like what I'm questioning. Because at the end of the day, with the upfront payment, we can help out, right? We can break it down. It's just, and I'm only gonna say this because you made it very clear that you're a very urgent person, right? I'm lacking. I'm not understanding where the wanting to delay this decision is coming from. Because if it's a lack of information, we're here, right? We would love to clear any misinformation or gaps in information that we fail to provide to you, right? If it's lack of clarity, we're here, right? You're never going to get more clarity than the people that are actually making the offer, right?
What is the breakdown going to look like for the initial investment?
What was that?
What is the breakdown going to look like for the initial investment?
We can orchestrate it, right? The best question to ask is how much are you able to put up front? Because depending on how much you're able to pay up front is going to depend on what our payment processor allows us to break it down by. Because even how Vlad said it, right? We can get the first section done in a week. Probably won't even take us that long. So if we can get it sorted, right here, let's figure it out.
I can put 2K down at this moment.
2K down. Let's see how we can break that down for you. Okay. We might have to do it through 2 links. Let's see. Partner buy-in part 1.
In your estimation, you said it takes a week to set up this system. How long from the initial start date to implementation date do we actually collect our first cash? But what is your timeline for that?
That's more of a question for Vlad. I'll let Vlad take over on that.
Yeah. So since you're closing for the moment, right, and that's the goal is to just launch a book call funnel, you can say, right, where we're booking as many calls as possible, qualified calls. We have a higher show up rate on those. It just depends when you start closing, but the calls start coming in after a week, right? The main thing is the longest taking thing is the E2P number, because that's out of our control. We can speed it up, but it's still out of our control. It's a GHL team that approves that. The calls start coming in after a week from new setters, right? And then it just comes down to you closing them for the first, amount of time until we get a closer, right? Until there's a surplus of calls where you can't actually afford to take the calls time-wise, and it just doesn't make sense.
That's the first link. It should give you some options to break it down. Right now we're capped at 4,500, so I sent you 4K. There's going to be a second link. When you're filling that out,
performance
go ahead.
guaranteed in your business
What
or
was
risk?
that?
So, do you guys do performance guarantees or risk reversals?
Not necessarily, right? Because at the end of the day, we're building the infrastructure for you. The only way, because let me ask you this, right? Where's the basis of that question, right?
The basis of the question is if you present that you can implement the system, and by some whatever step that is out of my control, you can implement the system properly. Either you have a few clients who are more urgent to you, or maybe you decide the work gets a little too hard and you decide not to push particularly hard. How do I get a risk reversal? For example, for my programs, I have a risk reversal. If you don't see your IELT time increase in the first 2 weeks, you get extra 2 weeks more with us. Or if you come into my school community and you don't see any progress, you get your money back. For example, these are risk reversals I provide to my clients, just so they know it's tailored to their success.
And please correct me if I'm wrong. That just sounds more of a concern that we won't hold our own weight. Like we'll start getting lazy, right? Like
I don't know.
And I'm only saying that because of the language you use, right? I'm not trying to make any assumptions or assign anything to you, but I'm just paying attention to the language that you use. Like, for example, a line in what you just said is like, you guys might feel like the work is too much, or you might not get the system built, right? And it's okay if you're at that point now. Like I just met you today, but I would want to have this talk about like what expectations are we going to set with ourselves, because that sounds more of like an expectation conversation than a risk reversal. Because if we come in here with improper expectations, you have all the right to be concerned. Is that fair to say? Right. So let's have that conversation about what expectations you would like. Because like I said, I don't assume negatives out of anybody. I don't think you actually believe we don't hold our own weight. I just think that there hasn't been expectation set. So there's just that unknown. So let's have that conversation about the expectations we can set moving forward. Right. I'll let you start off.
Yes, what is expectation? What is, like, how many clients do you currently have? And how much time can you get like this?
Currently, we're actually about to launch a barber client. Right. We offboarded and this is specifically why we did it. It was eating up a lot of time. We offboarded the fitness offer.
Why?
I think, what was that?
Why?
It was eating up a lot of time.
In what
Right.
aspect?
And, management, so to speak. Right. Getting a lot of calls, taking care of just like the small details.
There's 60 team members on that offer.
Yeah.
Right. There's 60 team members, and it's also a cold traffic offer. There's a lot less team on organic offer, and by less team, I'm not saying like, you know, there's 2 team members or 3 team members, but managing 60 people and getting DMs from 60 people a day gets a little bit frustrating, right? Because then it comes down to mental bandwidth as well. That's something that's important, I think, to everyone, right? You value your mental bandwidth. We value ours to an extent as well, right? So there's a point where it's like we can focus on organic offers, right? Where there's a smaller team, a more niche team, and have less management efforts, because that is a cost of running a cold traffic offer, right? And scaling that to 1 million. So that is the main reason. The management side of things, that leads to mental bandwidth and capacity issues with being able to take on other opportunities.
I think, is it fair to say that you're just concerned that we won't have the time allocated to dedicate to you properly?
Yes.
Right. And that's a fair concern. Right. I'm not somebody that makes big promises. Right. Because one thing in the online space, everybody can open their mouth and just promise this, promise that, left and right. Right. All I can do is let my actions speak for myself. Right. And that's a better way to operate. Like I said, right, we're launching.
Did you scale the health offer before you? Did you get to scale it before you offloaded it? Before you offboarded it?
Yeah, it started at 100K. It was at 100K a month. Actually, they had a drop to 80K a month. And then that's when I came in, and then Lionel as well on the YouTube and the sales side of things. And we scaled it to 1 million. We had 1 million. That was also a target that I set for myself personally, to get it to 10 million, right? We hit the target. And then it just got unmanageable. When we came in, the team had 25 people. It's at 60. I think it might be at like 65 now, right? Because there's even more VAs, and all these people hit you up every single day.
And how come you couldn't find a solution to this issue with the 60 team members? If you were scaling that much?
It's not a solution. It's an opportunity cost issue, because there's other opportunities where we're able to take on the time and mental bandwidth that it takes to manage 60 people. We can dedicate that to 2, 3, 4 other offers, and that has a higher ROI, right? And we're able to get them results faster. And also, it's a behemoth, right? When you have $1 million per month info offer, there's not a lot of $1 million per month info offer. It's a very slow moving boat. So every decision you make, right, it's not something like where you can move on a dime. You don't move on a dime, right? You're not able to test fast. You're not able to implement fast because now there's a bureaucracy structure, right? So there's opportunity cost that comes with that. So just more of a logical decision than just looking at the opportunity cost of that long term.
Okay, my hesitancy comes in implementation. So I'll give an example. Just in the last, with Leonidas, we had an idea to launch a webinar, and I did assign him a VA. That webinar was never launched, to be honest. To be fair, the webinar was never launched. The base pay which I paid him, and I paid him what, a VA to help him, and his implementation was just with my previous team. The same deal happened. We launched an offer, and the offer the offer got some resistance from the market, and the team decided that they had to try different offers. They had to try easier offer to scale. So the team departed from me. This happened with my last team. With the first team that I worked with, I told you already, the offer needed refinement. We couldn't refine it in time. So I get to a process where I have the sales teams who are good at selling themselves, but when it gets to the process, it gets difficult to actually implement the strategy whenever things get difficult in the market, because especially for my niche, which is so nuanced and so entrenched in pain, it gets to a point where it gets a little difficult. That is my concern with this team, not with y'all in particular, just from my experience.
That's okay. I understand where you're coming from, right? I think you just, and this is just me reiterating what I'm hearing, right? You've had a couple experiences where people have just quit on you, right? Or not put in the effort that you know that your brand deserves, right? And you're just concerned that that's happening again. I do want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
No, I want to make sure that you have the opportunity to fully express yourself so we understand where you're coming from. So go ahead.
I think a result of me having my in-house team came from just my lack of faith from outside teams implementation. And how long would you say from the implementation of the offer till the cash gets collected? If we had a good setter, which you vetted, not me as a setter, me out completely out of the process. If we had a good setter, which you appointed, we had a good closer, which you appointed, right? You had the opportunity to see the delivery system that it could actually fulfill the clients which you are bringing to the system. If you had the ability to see my content plan, to see that it brings, well, my content plan works because I'm getting viral every other day. Right, we're getting eyeballs. Maybe it might not hit the ICP. If we had an actual content for that, how willing would your team be to go on a rev share if you could assure every single part of that process will bring you cash?
It seems like you're trying to enter kind of like the same deal that you have with Trey, where it's just a full rev share. Is that fair to say? And that's just to kind of like mitigate any potential losses on upfront investment if we don't deliver from our end.
So it's to mitigate upfront investment. It's to balance out leverage, because my main issue is balancing of leverage. It's a balance of leverage, so we both get the maximum amount of money for the maximum amount of efforts we put in. And three is because I think Vlad might have misunderstood my relationship with Shrey. Shrey is still an outside part of the business. It's still not integrated into the business at all. If I decide to get on this business with you, I have to tell Shrey bye-bye, goodbye, or at least wait, not yet, because yours plan and Shrey's plan are going to pull the company in two different directions. I cannot have that happen, right? So emotionally, I have to pause that deal, or at the very least stop that deal for the time being. And my original investment would not have materialized itself.
Yeah.
So if you this is, I understand the value of an initial investment for your time, for your effort. I'm not discounting that. But what I am also saying is, if you had the ability to control the whole process, because a lot of times you probably had the opportunity or the experience of working with a certain creator, and maybe they just weren't willing to put in the work when it came to producing assets of your plan. They were difficult to work with, or maybe, for example, you mentioned the 60 team members, which was difficult for you all to manage. So if you had the opportunity to control every variable, so it could give you a guarantee that you would get what you want, and plus this amount which you mentioned, would you take that guarantee?
I mean, at the end of the day, how we operate is and this is just we have to just bolster ourselves up a little bit, right? We have enough credibility in the market to where that's what we demand on standard, right? Even with the offer that we're running right now with the barber coach, right? He had some ideas for what he wanted to run, and like we had to politely shut it down. And it's not coming from a place of thinking we know everything. We just have data. We just have so much data. So with the data we've been able to aggregate through our experience, is just we know that it is in your best interest for us to have that. Now, at the end of the day, you are the business owner. If you decide like that's not the level of control you want to give for any particular reason. That's fair, right? But the only person that would be hurting in that is you, because then we can't make you as much money as possible, right? So that's just a lot, and I hope I don't come off as too like, cause I don't like talking in this manner, right? But it's like it's kind of like what we demand. It's like we need as much control as possible so we can make you money. That's our job.
I'm not against giving up control. At the end of the day, we're all partners. We all have a shared goal. That's this business is not mine as much as it is yours, as much as it is my editors. Everybody gets a piece of the pie. I'm not against that. But what I'm saying is, like I said, if I could guarantee y'all, or if you had guaranteed control of the entire process, where every single hole in this funnel or every single control metric is filled by your team, by you alone. I'm not in your way, Straight not in your way. Everything is there to make it work. How certain are you that you will make profit from this venture? And if you're that certain, can you quantify it?
How certain are we that we would make profit, or that we would make you profit? Because those are two different questions.
I'm not worried about making profit from this. I'm not worried about making profit from this in particular. My goal is to break even. That is.
Well, okay. Can I have the opportunity to just challenge that a little bit? Why would we ever enter a situation not trying to win? Right. And the only reason why I say that is because I pay very close attention to like language, right? You're setting your goals at just breaking even. That's not consistent with like how you entered this meeting. Well, how you entered this meeting is like it was just full of dominance. Like I there's opportunity in this market that I want to capture. That was your verbiage. So I'm just wondering where it's like, how come we're approaching this from a standpoint of like just wanting to break even?
There's certain components of the business, right? There's a sales aspect and there's an outreach aspect. Those two aspects at this moment in time, the outreach is the main profit driver for the business. The outreach is where I make money. So meaning partnering with other companies who are in a similar space. For the sales department, the reason I wanted to move, the reason I want to move forward as fast as possible with the sales is that the sales eventually catches up to what we're doing with outreach, what we're doing with other companies, right? Building, this is an internal part of the business. The outreach is more of the external part of the business. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, so it's not necessarily break even. It would just be even with the main driver of revenue right now. So be even. Okay.
Yes, be even with the main driver of revenue. Yes.
Now looking forward, right, from the outreach revenue source and then the internal revenue source through the educational company, right? Let's just futurecast with which one is going to bring you more money in the long run.
I wish I knew that question. I don't know.
Can I answer that for you?
Yeah, you can. You can tell me sales, internal assist. I mean, with the right implementation.
And I hesitate to say that because it's like, yeah, I wouldn't say it, but it's because I've seen it happen so many times. Educational companies, when they're dialed in, they're just so easy to run because they're just cash flow businesses. Like I'm not gonna sit here and promise that we're gonna have an exit right now. You can't. You don't exit out of a cash flow businesses. These are businesses that are just in your pocket. They just bring you cash month over month. It's just having the right systems dialed in. I think I told you, Iman made $100 million from his cash flow business. Right. So it's like the opportunity is so large, and especially since more people are moving away from traditional education and moving more onto online education. I think I did some research on it. The market cap for online educational companies is just going to continue to increase over the next 5 years. So that's just I hate to come off as like me just hyping up like our offer, but it's your cash flow.
It's a good system. My doubt is not with your system. That is not what I'm. The system looks. I mean, it looks like it could work. We just need to implement it, right? So that's why I'm asking again. If you could control every variable and have an estimation of what you could generate in revenue. So let's say, for example, the system generated. Let's say we make what 20,000 in the first 3 weeks. Is that I don't know, is that a feasible number? 20,000 in 3 weeks. If I take out the initial investment, that's 10,000 left. If I take out the what 20% from the team, 5% to the setters, I'll still do more than breaking even. I'm not doubting that for you. But what I'm asking you is how much belief do you have in the system, and how much are you willing to go in revenue to back up that belief, if you're open to that, or is this not something you guys do at all?
I mean, I don't know if it's an upfront fee and a revenue share. I don't know if I didn't mention that.
Yeah. We're on the same understanding. What I'm saying is, how much more up in revenue would you go?
So I think, wait, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you're asking if we're willing to just lower the upfront fee and then increase the back end revenue.
And that is close to the question. I'm asking, how much of revenue would you go to justify your belief in the system?
Oh,
because
we'll take
firstly,
your whole,
why 20%?
We'll take your whole entire company. We'll just take your whole. We'll take 100%. We'll take your whole entire company. If you can ask us how much revenue we're trying to, we were willing to take, we'll just take 100%.
I mean, why do you go with 20%? Are you putting 20% of the effort compared, and I'm putting 80% of the effort? Like, firstly, what basis do you have for this revenue?
It's about split. It's about the customer experience, right? Because we're gonna take 20%, and then you're gonna pay 10% to a closer, and then you're gonna pay 5% to setters. So that's 35% of your revenue gone, right? So you're left with 65%, right? We've tested it out with taking bigger revenue shares, but there's we always want the people that we partner with to feel like they're getting the better end of the stick. You know, yeah, because we're gonna do so much work for you, and then you still keep 65% of the revenue that we make. Like, it's all about the customer experience. In our heads, and from what we've experienced, people just appreciate us more than us taking 50% of their business. And then they also have to pay 15% to the sales staff. So now they're left with just 35% of the business that they work so hard on. So we can demand more. If you're asking us to ask for more money, I'm the wrong person to ask for. I'll take all your money. I'll ask for more. But the reason why we have it like that is so you can be in the positive. You can be the winner here, because we're gonna do so much work for you. We're gonna bring you so much money, and then you're still gonna make the majority of the money. You're literally going to be taking out of the company, right? No more work. Your time is gonna be disassociated with the company. You're gonna have your mental bandwidth back. We're gonna do all the work for you, and you still make the majority of the money out of the partnership. That's why we're at 20%. But if you want us to take more of your money, we'll take it.
I'm at a mental impasse.
Talk to me.
I'm at a mental impasse. I don't know how to solve this issue. First time in a while. I don't know how to solve this issue.
What's going on?
In total, I would have spent probably in total I would have spent currently with this investment and with Trey, I'll probably be spending almost 20K split. I gotta reconcile how to move Trey, pause Trey, and I gotta deal with with this offer as well. That's why I'm at an impasse. It's not. I guess it's at the end of the day, it's not your team, and are you willing to generate the system and get your initial investment on the first profits? Are you willing to do that if you have a setup, if you have a closer which you control? Are you able to do it?
Well, we're able to, right? We're willing to do half, right? We'll do half up front, and then the other half from the payout from the first, from the profits when it starts generating the revenue. We'll help you out. We'll do half. Perfect. Okay. Next steps. So you just paid 4K right now. The rest of it was 9.5. So we're gonna take the 5.5 out of the first payout, and we're at 20%. Next step is we're gonna get you on an onboarding form. Vlad is gonna send that out to you through email. Big thing is understanding you and your vision moving forward. That's really it. I'll start looking at your content. Please also send me all the information you have about your ICP, like everything that you've done so far, so I can start orchestrating.
Could you create a group, Vlad? Could you send me this number? Create a group chat, please.
Yeah, give me a sec.
And well, thank you for your patience. And this is hope, right? I hope you can do your best. And if you choose not to do your best, what I'm asking you tell me, like, hey, I've decided we're not going to do our best, just so I can know. I don't want you not to do your best and then decide to keep me in limbo, so I know how to move. That's all I ask from you. Do we have an agreement on that?
I'm gonna hesitate to say yes to that because I'm gonna tell you this. I never enter a situation expecting to not do my best, so I'm not gonna agree to that. Instead, I'm going to tell you that we're going to do our best to put as much fucking money in your pocket as possible. That's what I'm going to tell you instead. So, unfortunately, I'm not going to agree with that because I'm not approaching this relationship with the expectation of us not doing our best. That's just not how we operate. You don't see how companies moving like that. I'm sorry to get it just a little bit more abrasive. But yeah, no, I'm not agreeing with that because that's not how we're not going to do that to you. I understand that that's your experience and what you've dealt with in the past.
I value honesty, and I understand everybody doesn't live up to their expectation, or everybody doesn't live up to the expectations. What I need is just you being transparent with me. That's all I need from you.
I promise that we will be transparent with every touch point as we move forward.
Both good and bad. If you have something which you believe you cannot move forward, or if you decide like, hey, you know what, screw that, or if you decide, okay, we need to do this, all I need is just you let me know so I can move with clarity. That's all I need.
Okay, that's fair. We can do that, but I'm going to promise you that we're going to move with transparency throughout the whole entire process. But I'm also going to promise you that we're going to move from a standpoint of excellence, because that's just the standard for the standard we keep for ourselves, right? And yeah, I just had to say something about that because. And it's not even from a combative standpoint. It's quite unfortunate that you've been dealt with such a brand that has so much potential. To be honest, it's unfortunate that you've had a couple of teams that came into your organization and kind of have treated you like that.
It makes sense. It's not unfortunate. It's part of life. It's business, and the goal of a team is to sell yourself. Because if you cannot sell yourself to me, you cannot touch my audience. I go through the same things every single day. I was on a call with Blue Chew just a few minutes before this, on the same pitch you were on. It's all the business. I understand the way business works, and sometimes you might take in a venture which you cannot fully fulfill. I understand that certain things are not in your control.
That's fair.
I'm not expecting you all to promise. Whenever I have these calls, people always show up with stripe figures. I don't care about the stripe figures. People will show up with stripe figures and promise the world. You cannot promise the world when you haven't seen what my audience is like, when you don't know much about my ICP, when you don't know how long or how difficult it is going to be. All you can have faith is in your systems and in your execution. And this might not work, and it might not be your fault. Do we have that understanding? I'm not expecting you all to give me $1 million.
That's
right?
fair.
I'm expecting you to do your best. I'm going to do my best too, according to how you see fit, because we become partners.
Yeah,
well.
I agree. I 100% agree, and I think I iterated kind of like a same point earlier. Is how I don't like to make big promises. Right, that's why I always put the promise on my efforts. So I agree 100% with everything you just said. Like we said, next steps is us, Vlad putting us in the group chat.
I already did.
Perfect. Sending over the onboarding form, and then you sending me all the ICP research that you've done so far, so I can start looking at some of your competitors.
Could you make an admin in this group chat, please?
Yeah.
I'm going to add my executive assistant so she can help facilitate things.
I just sent the form as well. Give me a second. I'm making.
Thank you.
I'll let Vlad conclude the meeting.
Yeah, I mean, I just made you admin. To say the least, I'm very excited. I'll be transparent. I'm very happy that you put your trust in us, right? Because I generally am certain, right? I don't mean that. I am certain that this is going to work out just because of the opportunity that you have, and also what we've done previously, right? With strategies just like this. So yeah, I really appreciate your trust. The onboarding form is super important. If you can take some time to fill that out, because you only do it once, right? So like do it right. That's what I like to say. Like actually put in some time into filling it out. That's pretty much it. There's nothing else for me.
Okay. Do you have internal teams, or do you fulfill the systems yourself?
We do have teams. So there's someone who sets up all the tech and automations. There's a head of fulfillment, Jake, who helps with a lot of the copywriting, and then there's editors, right, for VSLs and things like that. So we have people who run specific parts, right, or you could say assist with specific parts of the business.
All right,
but a lot of it is done by ourselves.
You know, I like to move with urgency, and I like moving with urgency so we can find out errors and we can find out if this is even worth doing. So how from after filling this form, what are the next 3 steps we need to take?
Well, the first thing is I'm gonna get your ATP approval, right? I believe you invited me to GHL, If you
Have you
could,
had access?
no, I need an invite under a different email, because that email that you invited has, and that's the email I gave to Trey, right? But it has GHL account, so it couldn't get connected. I can send an email in the group chat, and then if you can invite Lionel as well, he's gonna drop his email in the group chat.
Could you send 2 emails? Let me do that right now to make sure you have access, so I can move on to other things.
Perfect. I'll drop it in. Lionel, you can plug your email.
Yep, working on that right now.
And then in terms of setters, we have applications, tons of applications. I'm gonna sort interviews tomorrow, right? So we can get someone placed. And then
How
in
soon
terms
can
of
we
GHL,
system?
yeah, as I said, within 7 days. The goal would be to have it by Monday, right? The main thing is the core pillars of the system, right? Which is the show up rate, the automations for that, the ATP number, which is kind of the entire restriction, right? But if we're in the JHL, we can get it, we can apply for it. Like I'm gonna apply for it in the morning, right? So we get that approved as soon as possible. And then the setters, that just comes down to doing some interviews to pick the best people who want to work on the software, and that doesn't take more than a few days, right? I dropped my email.
Okay.
And another thing from your end, as Lionel requested, anything you have on your ICP, I know you sent me an offer doc, right? If you could send that to the group chat, I'd appreciate that, and I'm sure Lionel will as well. And anything else that you have, if you have any docs, because you did build a lot of
Send me
stuff
a
from what I've seen. Yeah,
send me a list, please. A list of everything you need from me. I'll have that done as soon as I can.
sure. Lionel, are you on that, or should I send it?
It's just the market research, not the market research, the onboarding doc,
Yeah.
ICP research doc, and then the offer doc, right?
Yep.
Yeah, just write it down because I have a meeting after this. I don't want to miss or send. I don't want to send.
Yeah.
I want to be. I need to be focused, and I'm doing some. I'm doing a task right now, so I'm not 100% focused.
We got ICP information, offer information. I'm sending that over to you now.
One more question for you, Kenneth.
Hey,
What
give me
is
a
your
second.
availability with time zones right now? Because you're in Thailand. So like when is a good time to message you? Because you're also on a lot of calls.
Yes, just I'm free normally at this time, but I'm aware it's what 3 a.m. on your time.
Yeah.
So if the best time, which will work for both of us, will be probably early in the morning for me. So that's 9 a.m. Any of the nines can work. 9 a.m. or 9 p.m. can work for me. So that is 9 a.m. or 9 p.m. for you.
Between those times. Okay.
No. Like the peak time you will catch me at peak focus is going to be 9 a.m. my time, which is 9 p.m. your time. So if you have an important meeting which is very important, crucial to the development of the project, 9 p.m. your time. If you have a regular meeting for us to have just to catch up or get aligned, we can do it 9 a.m. your time, which would be 9 p.m. my time.
Okay. Appreciate that.
All right, Lionel, could you please confirm with me if you have access to my Go High level?
Yeah, I'm about to get on it right now. I was just writing down the meeting time.
You also mentioned something about my mini chat not being responsive. Are you going to be in charge of that? Are you going to be in charge of making sure
I can fix that. Right. What you can do, go into mini chat and then add me as an admin. You should be able to send me a link.
What I need from y'all is what Vlad did with Trey. I need exactly the tasks which y'all are going to be accomplishing. Lionel, I need your task. Vlad, I need your task. So that way I can properly have an idea. I can also connect you all to my executive assistant. So for example, if you want something done, I'm not asking, I'm not confused, I'm not running around. I know exactly who to bring this to. Is that okay?
Yes, that is.
Thank you. Okay, Vlad, I'm currently adding you right now.
Perfect.
Let me confirm that I'm in the GHL.
Okay, Vlad, I just sent you permissions. Could you please check for me?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
1 second. For any other software, I'm going to send this as a bullet point. I know you have Typeform and you have Calendly. If you can add, either add us as admins, or just send us the login details for those.
Okay. Yes. Could you add that to the list of things you need from me, please?
Yeah, I just sent it.
Confirm. Okay, perfect.
Any softwares used for coaching, right?
All right.
It said the link expired for me. It's not letting me add it as a sub account. Let me try again. Or just resend it.
I should be able to add you.
Okay, that's fine. We can take care of that off call then.
Yep. Yeah, I'll add you in.
Perfect. Okay. Nah, that's what I was on. Pouring calls at 9 p.m. our time.
Yep. I'm in. Yeah, I'll add you in, Lana.
I think that's everything sorted. Before we hop off call, because I know you have another meeting here in a second. Do you have any questions for us?
No, if I have anything, I'll send it in the chat. I just added my assistant in there, so she'll probably be helping you out to make things easier and she's normally working at US hours. But if it's an important meeting, please just let me know and I'll attend the meeting. And could you list the next 3 steps to this after I fill out send you this information? How we're moving from there, just so I have a roadmap, please.
Yeah, of course. I'll bullet point right now.
You're sending it to the group chat?
Yeah, I'll just bullet point right now.
Okay.
And yeah, Lionel, I appreciate your persistence, and
Of course.
congratulations on closing the deal.
That's not how I view it, but
to your team. I mean, it's a boost of morale for your team, for Vlad, so it further cements your relationship that you all are working well together, so you can secure clients. I understand. I think just a little bit about myself. I've been on sales for a long time. I started selling Windows, and I sold ACs, and as I became a Mormon, and I started selling Mormonism. So I've sold everything, and I understand the back and the front of how sales work. So I appreciate seeing salespeople in front of me, and I hope you can bring the same energy to this campaign. That's all. If we work out well, good. If we don't work out, we learn lessons from this and we'll move on.
100%.
That's all I expect.
Even before I was doing this, I've always been in sales. I've just been infatuated with sales my whole entire life. I don't think because it just translates to so many things overall. Sales is just so fun to me. I see like I think I talked to Vlad about it. It's like a sport, Sometimes you get kicked down. Sometimes this is the improper framing, but it's just like how I like to explain it. Sometimes you have a bigger opponent, a stronger opponent, and I just challenge you to be a better athlete. That's just my viewpoint on it. So like, even when I get objections, I never have an emotional reaction. It's just like, okay, everything is cool until you get punched in the face. Then it's time to actually fight or actually play the game.
True.
Go ahead.
Yes. So yeah, Vlad, thank you too for being
Yeah.
very, very meticulous and transparent about your systems. And the systems look good. The systems look good on paper. I appreciate you being able to also audit my sales scripts. Like I told you, I made that script myself. I appreciate you auditing the sales scripts, and we will surely have a time in the future where we can further refine the script so it makes the seller's jobs easier.
Yeah.
So we can all make more money from this situation. And my goal will eventually be to have closers. Lionel, I think that would be your specialty. Closers who can finalize this deal so I can focus on just purely making content, because that's what more of my time I want my time to be like. And we can also use YouTube to scale to make content which can attract people from our program. So if you can probably have a plan for me, a plan for our YouTube channel, go check out our YouTube channel. I'm also going to send you a document of other people in our space on YouTube. I'll send you a document of our competitors on Instagram and a document of our competitors on YouTube, so it's easier for us to work.
That actually might is gonna help, because I was gonna do that anyways. That's literally the next step. That's why I wanted that ICP list, and the offer list, so I can cross reference different creators. But if you already have one built out, that actually helps a lot. Right, that just moves the process on a lot faster. So I need to work on that in the morning.
Take some time and rest. Maybe you can start working at noon. I want you to be at your full wits.
Rest is not something I'm used to these days, but I promise that we will have my maximum brain capacity, because I've trained my brain to operate off of 30 minutes of sleep per day. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to our partnership, like Vlad said. So I know you have another meeting right after this. So
yes, I do.
I think we're good. We've gotten all the touch points. Anything else that anybody wants to say?
That's all for me. For your time.
How many days ATP takes? 7 days. Setup
5 to
takes
7 days. Yeah, 5 to 7 days.
And follow-up sequence and setup to JHL. How long does that take?
That's a day. All that stuff it doesn't take a long time. The main thing is just the A2P, and because that's out of our control, they said.
So when do we actually get to start beyond this? How many days? A day?
Yeah, no, I would say like we can start getting leads in. If the A2P gets approved faster, we just start then. Everything else besides the A2P is going to be set up by the end of this week, right? If the A2P is ready by the end of this week, we start, right? So it just comes down to that. As I said, I'm going to submit for the approval in the morning tomorrow. And then everything else is built out. And then, yeah, A2P, typically 5 to 7 days. I've seen it approved in 3 days. But I just don't want to set, the wrong expectations.
Okay. Lionel, please, I need the call, the first two calls. So
I'll send it right. I'll send it right after this.
All right. I need to let you go sleep, and so we can start working on this. So thank you for your time, and thank you for your effort, and I hope everything works well.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the day, man.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.